Good evening and welcome back. And well, I've had a change. I had to get some glasses. I had an eye op a few months ago. It looks like there's another one coming later on, but at least I can still see the charts and I can still live my passion. So it's nice. Well, the first one that we need to kick off with is Insimbi. There's some viewers that wants to know when is this share going to start to show some oomph and maybe go higher. And then, strangely enough, we've got a few shares in South Africa and even in the world that just goes higher now. But then you get some other shares that is really struggling and trying to find its feet. And this is the important thing to always remember. When you've got a share that tries to find its feet, and I've said it many a time on the show, just wait and be patient because you will get to a point where this share actually surprise you either to the upside or to the downside. But in this case, in Simbi, remember it's not a big player. Remember, the fund managers always chase the big guys first. So let's say they need to have a choice between Bidvest and Insimbi. They'll rather buy Bidvest because Bidvest is such a massive company. There's plenty shares trading every day and they can move in and move out. So when you've got a counter like an Insimbi or Orion or one of those tiny companies, always keep in mind that volatility and the amount of shares available to trade for that specific day plays a major role. So, well, if you look at Insimbi here, I mean, doing a consolidation, and it's quite simple. I will say, let's wait for this support, this resistance line to turn into a support. And that place is exactly at 104. And the reason being, it's quite simple. Every time that the share gets close to this 104, suddenly there's some sellers and they're selling it down. And always also keep in mind that when you've got the share, it's doing the zigzags, somewhere from 1 Rand 4 cents to 95 cents in one day. You must always tell yourself this share is trading on thin volume and somebody can easily push it higher or lower on a few shares. So only buy above 104. I'll use 96 as my stop loss and above 94. Yes, we can maybe reach for this high. There's the high to 116 in time to come. For me, patience is key here. And remember also, many of the shares, the bigger counters, had some beautiful rallies in the last 3 months. Now, if Insimbi struggles to have a rally in that same period, just keep that in mind. Why is the share not running? Because at that certain point, when the market was running hard, the share was not that attractive to some of the bigger buyers. So be patient, wait for 104, stick to your stop loss, and only then the share can maybe surprise to the upside. Now, here is one of those stern performers. Apple. I mean, Apple, can you believe it? From middle June, from about $130, it almost went up in a straight line to 173 where it is trading now. It almost haven't had any down days. I just said to somebody this morning, I said, you know what, the era of pullbacks is not there anymore. The shares only go up. And that's the big thing. I mean, Apple had one beautiful rally. And if you look at it before all this inflation and the war between the Ukraine and Russia, the share was trading at 185 and it's trading now at 173. And everybody just say, don't worry, we just buy it. So it just shows you that everybody's not worried about inflation. They're not worried about higher interest rates. They just say that the share offers value. We want to buy the share, and they rushed in and buy it. And look at this. Can you look at the beautiful chart more than this? Low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, all the way to the top. The only thing that worries me the moment I see that, and if you just draw a line in there, you can actually say that it's working on a lamp pull formation. So somebody wants to buy it now. I think you may be a little bit late. And let's just rather give you a place where you need to worry about the share. I will actually wait for the share to pull back just before I just go in to buy. And where's my first warning signal? The first warning signal is when this tiny little support at 168.28 gets taken out. And then we'll see maybe a resistance from there and maybe a little bit of a sell-off. But For me to chase the momentum after the share rallied from 130 to 175 almost in one go, for me it's just not logical. I mean, we've seen that before. There was the share at 138 in October 21. It rallied almost in one go straight up to 182, and since then it fell and it fell and it all the way it came back. For me, to chase a share after it had such a beautiful rally, I think it's maybe better just to wait. So maybe I'm a little bit negative. I'm not negative on the company. I'm just negative on this action, and I believe that it's a little bit hard in a small period of time. So just play poker face and rather find something else. But this is one of those stern performers that helped the Nasdaq and the S&P 500 to this beautiful rally that we've seen in the last 2.5 months. Another question, Amazon. Somebody wants to buy Amazon. Well, if you look at Amazon, same story here, rallied from 102 from middle of June to 143. Well, that's a 40% gain in a matter of 2 months. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, somebody will say, but Frans, just put it in perspective. The share came from 180 to 100. Well, that's quite right. But I mean, a 40% rally here, nothing bad about that. But for me personally, if we look at the share price, it looks like it's slowly but surely running out of steam here. And what do I see here? For me personally, I will not buy it as well now. I will say let's wait for the share to pull back a little bit. We've got a little bit of a flat top there. Some guys will say this is the ideal bullish flag to go higher. For me, a bullish flag needs to have a little bit of a gradient to the downside. But I mean, this little rising wedge below 140.33, the share can easily lose momentum and see a little bit of profit taking down to about 133. I mean, that's not a lot. That's about $10, $12. Then we can maybe see if it starts to do some new higher lows again. For me, the first warning will be this rising wedge that you see here on the chart. It makes me a little bit negative or nervous. For me personally, I think same thing here, same as with Apple, the same as with the Nasdaq and the S&P 500. Maybe it just rallied way too hard. I think just wait for a breather or a pullback. Everybody is just so bullish now. Everybody say, yes, we're going to all-time highs. That's what we hear all day. And there is some guys that say that they're calling tops of the share prices must come down. For me, quite simple. I need to see these levels break. This 140 level needs to break before I can get negative on the company. Maybe a consolidation is happening here. For me, not to buy now, wait for a pullback, see if you can get a better entry with a nice tight stop loss, and then you enter, not now. Well, let's look at Sappi. Strangely enough, tonight I've got quite a few requests on packaging companies, York, I've got Sappi, I've got Impact, I've got Nampak. I mean, all of them are packaging companies. But if I look at Sappi here, it's almost finding a beautiful base here. For me, this important support is just waiting where it is now. There you are. Let's just combine those dots there. There you are. There's strong support around 51.60. And for me personally, I just want to use this resistance line to draw it in there. There you are. For me, only above, and there's the level, only above 56.96. This chart can maybe break to the upside. It can break this triangle to the upside. And where can it go to? Let's just draw in the line there. We can see where it can maybe go to. I mean, then we can probably see a nice rally. It can take the share all the way back to 66.50. So for me, this is positive. But when is it positive? Only above this line. It's looked like I'm tonight a little bit cautious. Why? I'm waiting for levels to break to the downside, to really become bearish on some companies. I need for levels to break to the upside before I can become bullish on these shares. So quite simple. I need this line to turn into a support. If it cannot turn into a support, I'll wait. I'll patiently wait for it. At least we see a beautiful consolidation here. And usually, and I've said it many a time on the show, when a share consolidates between, let's say between 51 Rand or even 62 Rand, it just tells you that the informed capital, they make up their mind during this period if the share offers value or not. And if it doesn't offer value, you will probably see that this support line turn into a resistance and we will see some sell-off. And if it does offer value, you'll probably see your first blip above here, and before you know, it will probably bounce off that line straight to the upside, and that tells you then that the informed capital is quite happy with the company. Somebody sent me an email and asked if he still buy York, or if he can still buy York, because we showed York on the program a few weeks ago. But this is now the exact point here. If you've got a descending channel, and that's what we had that evening, we showed this channel. I just want to show it to the viewer. I hope he's watching tonight, because I didn't answer him on the email. I said to him he must watch the show. It broke out of this channel, went straight up, and now it's taking a breather and it's coming back. So for me, if you did not buy it close to this level where we pointed the level out, maybe wait for either a consolidation again so that you can make sense out of the chart, and then you buy it. Always keep in mind, when you look at charts, you haven't got the informed info that a fundamentalist will have. You will need for a pattern, you will wait for a candle, you'll wait for an overbought or an oversold situation to help you with the decision making. You will never know when the big boys will buy. Yes, you'll maybe pick it up on volume. But if you had this beautiful rally already from 254 to 3, almost in a matter of 2, 3, 4 trading days, then wait for a pullback, wait for confirmation before you end into buying the share. So always keep in mind, technical analysis, first of all, is not an exact science. And second of all, you need to wait for confirmation on charts, what the clever guys think, before you can act. And always, but always, don't be greedy and trade small if you are not sure. Well, thank you for watching the show once again. Visit our website www.fransdeklerk.com for more info, and we will chat again.